I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact focused on personal growth, my Knowledge Workbook series and Creative Healing course can help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about a long overdue success story. I know that when you're going through a breakup it can feel hopeless. You're going to see a lot of negativity about breakups in comments, on forums, on different channels, okay? So when you're going through it, it's really nice to hear about a success story. One of the major problems that I have seen time and time again is that you guys don't send your success story, okay? Most people, what happens is their ex comes back, they get so excited about being with that person, they get consumed with that relationship again, and they slowly stop watching the videos, slowly stop doing the personal growth, and they never tell me about getting back with their ex. However, there is one way that I constantly see these things come up a long time later. Any of you want to take a guess? Well, I'll tell you, it's when somebody winds up getting their ex back, and it lasts for a while, sometimes even years later. But then they come to me with a new breakup. And when they tell me about the original story, they tell me how they got their ex back. And I say to them, did you give me a success story? And a lot of the times they say, no, I didn't. I had that happen 2 times this week. Okay, 2 times this week from Zoom calls. And one of them I've got the story to share. I asked the other one to send it too, and both of them were from clients from many, many years ago. This first one here is from 2017, so that was 8 years ago. And this other one that I did, I think it was 6 years ago. I hope they send the follow-up on how they got back with their ex too. But guys, please do me a favor. You watch my videos day and night. You know what it's like feeling hopeless. You know what it's like thinking that the person is never going to come back. Please promise me, leave a comment that you'll do it, that you'll send a success story if and when you get your ex back. Is that a lot to ask? You guys are watching hundreds of my videos, okay? And all I'm asking you to do is just send me a success story that if you get that person back, you will send me a success story of what happened and how you got back with them, because it really does make people feel better. And we don't put out a lot of success stories because we always have so much content that we want to focus getting out to you. But like this one is a really special one because it was a client from 8 years ago, and he's going to explain a lot of the things that I tell you through his breakup, and kind of, I think we get into a little bit of where he's at right now. So they said, Coach Craig and Victoria, as promised, here's the email I never sent out. Backstory for all the viewers, I first worked with Coach Craig back in 2017 after a painful breakup. I stumbled across his channel on YouTube and decided to reach out. I swear on my life, Craig was the one who got me through such a painful and confusing time. Okay, this is going to be pretty crazy, okay? And I really wish I could have him on camera to tell you this stuff, because you guys, I'm sure you wonder what? Especially when you hear this story, but this is pretty crazy. I have an anxious attachment style, and it's caused numerous issues in several relationships. We came up with a game plan, and I stuck to it. 6 months, no contact, not a word, Not a hint of anything until the indirect direct approach came at 11:30 at night about a previous AC repair, or a previous AC repairman. I was blown away. The separation anxiety. All anxiety is separation anxiety. And by the way, that was Margaret that taught me that. All anxiety is separation anxiety. And unfortunately, a lot of the other coaches are starting to steal our phrases and not give us any credit, including a relatively big one. Somebody pointed that out to me the other day. Somebody with millions of followers is now using our stuff. Had finally gotten to her, and she reached out. We got back together and dated for an additional 3 years before we ultimately, mutely called it quits. I followed Coach Craig's advice to a T. I did all the work, answered all the hard questions I had been avoiding, and I really looked at myself in the mirror. He was spot on about everything. I was super anxious and insecure about most things in my life. Here's the kicker, and what most of us do in this situation. I followed Craig's advice until I got my ex back. Guys, you are going to make one of the biggest mistakes that you can make by giving up on personal growth after you get your ex back. Please put yourself on probation for 9 months. Make that promise to yourself right now. Right now, say to yourself, if I get my ex back, I will put myself on probation for 9 months. And really mean it. Because those of you that do are going to be far more likely to make the relationship last. Usually, after a couple of months, you stop watching the videos that much, you regress back to your old ways, and sooner than later, you wind up in another breakup. He did a lot of work, so it lasted another 3 years. And there was a lot of issues with his partner too, right? Because that plays a big part of it. But it changes your life to stay committed to the growth. And that's what we're all about here. You could see that we're constantly putting out videos, and I know won't get a lot of views. I know the titles aren't exciting. Believe me, you are going to find value. You are going to find similarities in every situation that we talk about. There will be something new in an email coaching that we're sharing that you will get out of it, okay? So a lot of times you see some title that doesn't feel relevant, watch it. You're going to find something relevant in there. You'll see. My hurting had been alleviated, and I thought everything was perfect. I stopped doing the work on myself and let my anxiety and insecurities creep back in. I rushed back into the relationship way too quickly, and it ultimately caused problems again. Okay, this is where it gets interesting, right? Because I hadn't seen him for years. And watch what happens. Fast forward 8 years, and I'm going through a tough breakup again with a different woman. Of course, I immediately seek out Coach Craig and Victoria. I schedule a couple of coaching sessions with Craig, and we start talking about the first time I reached out to him. Once he figures out who I am, and I hope he leaves a comment so you guys can see this. He literally started telling me details from my previous relationship from 8 years ago. Small details, where I worked, where I was sitting in my house when we talked, where she worked, and what she looked like. Guys, all I can tell you, I have a terrible memory. But for some reason, my brain always wants to understand breakups, and I knew who this guy was. Now, when we first started the call, he told me we did a coaching 8 years ago, and I said, I don't remember you. And I say, how many we did? He's like, we did a couple of calls. And he was bald. He had his head shaved. And he said to me, I had a lot of hair back then. I said, wait a minute. Okay. And I started saying, were you laying on the floor for our call with like a laptop in front of you or something? Yes. And all of a sudden, my unconscious started pulling up all those details. I said, wait a minute, did she work at an office that used to go in for like payroll? Yes. How did you know that? I don't know how I know it. I don't know how I know it, but my unconscious, that's why I'm saying is like when you send me a success story, if we've done coachings especially, those things come up for me and I remember it. I'm like, oh, I remember talking to you guys about this. So it's nice to see that everything that we talked about worked out for you. Let me share a little bit more about this. Where I worked, where I was sitting in my house when we talked, where she worked, what she looked like. He even remembered the emergency call and having to reschedule one of the previous calls 8 years prior. I was completely in shock. He remembered details that I had forgotten all about. Mind blown. This man has gifts. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm not even kidding you. I don't know if I said this before, but I have a terrible memory. I do. Because, I think that when you grow up with a lot of anxiety in your home, like I don't remember a lot of stuff from my childhood. Like my friends will say, do you remember this and that? And I'm like, I don't remember any of that. But for some reason, because breakups are so important to me and understanding them, I remember this stuff. And I told him, it's weird about when I remembered that your ex had worked with you and that there was like a little office, my unconscious at the time, I don't know why it did this, pictured an office that she worked in with a little desk and that people would come in there. And maybe it was because 8 years ago we had to describe how he had to go in that office. But my unconscious had like visualized something and it was still in my unconscious when I brought up that detail to him. So it was pretty much a shock for both of us that I remembered this. He said, I'm super stoked to be working with Craig again. There's relief in what he teaches. Here's what I want people to know in this situation. Coach Craig and Victoria's advice is legit. They've been in these situations, studied these behaviors, and processed the outcomes of different scenarios. In the past week, a previous ex reached out after 5 years of no contact. A girl from college reached out after 20 years. Both of these things happened shortly after a breakup. This has happened numerous times to the point that I've lost count. The disturbance in the force is real. You can't make this stuff up, guys. Like, honestly, it's so crazy. I mean, here we have him going through this new breakup and 2 exes reach out in the span of like a week. One from 20 years ago, one from 5 years ago. And this disturbance in the force thing that we talk about, we always joke about it. A lot of times it's other exes. And please, if it's happened to you, leave a comment so people see that this stuff happens all the time. I had a friend of mine tell me last year that within like a week of breaking up with her current boyfriend, she had an ex of 8 years and 5 years reach out in the same week. And she was shocked. But these weird things happen. Why? Who knows? I don't know. Is it coincidence? It could be coincidence, right? I can't say that it couldn't be. But when you're doing this year after year like we have, and you keep seeing things like this come up, it sure is interesting. I mean, have 2 exes, not just one, but 2 within a span of a week. So, but that's why we say you got to let your ex go to get them back, right? I always tell you that. I say it's kind of like you got to work through that breakup. You got to do the work. You got to process it. You kind of have to let go of the outcome. And when you do that, it's like for some reason people feel it. They sense it. I don't know how that works. Is it God? Is it the energy of the universe? Who knows? Is it coincidence? Maybe it's that. I don't know. But I could tell you that doing the work will always pay off, okay? You're always going to feel better about doing the work in no contact. Stop watching whether or not your ex is logging on and off of Instagram or WhatsApp or whatever it is, because it only keeps you stuck on the unhealthy stuff. You absolutely want to be pulling out those workbooks instead of pulling up WhatsApp, logging onto the Creative Healing course instead of looking to see if they posted on social media. That doesn't matter, okay? I know you desperately want to connect with them, but what's far more important is learning how to have a healthy connection with them, a stronger connection with them when they come back. And when you do that work, you're going to avoid a lot of the mistakes. You're not going to get caught up in that anxious avoidant trap. You're going to use a lot of skills and behavior that will attract somebody and keep the attraction strong and intense, and they're going to be a lot less likely to leave. Now, there's no guarantees, of course, but you're going to see that you're going to feel better. You're going to feel a lot more enlightened within yourself when you keep doing this work, right? So stay focused, please. He says, people, you have got to work on yourselves. Keep doing the work, he put in bold caps. It's the best possible outcome for any scenario. Even when your ex reaches out, and they usually reach out, keep doing the work. I can't express this enough. Working on yourself will help ease the pain and alleviate the anxiety. You will be a better person when the ex decides to reach out. There is no better investment than working on yourself. Schedule the Zoom call, the email, do the workbooks. Whatever your budget is, invest that money into yourself. It will be the most rewarding and satisfying investment you ever make, both emotionally and financially. No contact works, period. You've got to flip the script and let them see or let them feel the anxiety and the possibility of losing you. I know it's hard and it seems hopeless, but you've got to stick to it. Letters, grand gestures, clean slate messages, they all push people further away. And ultimately, as a mature human being, you have to respect their wishes. Give them the space they ask for. Let them feel their loss. But you've got to keep working on yourself. No contact is only the beginning. It's only part of the solution. And I can't stress that enough, guys. I constantly try and give different examples of that. But you're going to learn from the hard work, or you're going to learn the hard way, like a lot of people do. He says, do the work, honest work. If you've got things to work on, be honest with yourself about it. You're going to heal yourself with Craig and Victoria's help. Everyone says they're willing to do anything to get their ex back. Working on yourself and healing your traumas are part of that quote-unquote anything. Are you doing that? Honestly? Schedule the coaching session. Give yourself something positive to look forward to. Talk to Craig and Victoria. Get it off your chest. I swear you will feel so much better. And I have said this for years, guys. When I was going through my breakup, I was going to Margaret 2 times a week. Okay? It was the only thing that made me feel a lot better. Just talking to her about it. I'm talking to somebody who understood so much. And, back then, breakups weren't her specialty. But just talking with somebody that was so brilliant, she was more than like a therapist for me. She was a mentor. She was like family. And I tried to learn so much from her and incorporate all that. And we started talking about breakups a lot, obviously, as I went through mine, and putting all this stuff together behind the scenes for years before we even launched the channel and before she came on the channel. I know I've rambled. Sorry, Craig. You know what, though? You're reinforcing a lot of the stuff that we're constantly saying, so I appreciate that. I tried to keep it short, but there's so much I want to tell people and want them to know. Send your success stories into Craig and Victoria. The people that are hurting need to hear these successes. Don't be selfish like I was. Keep the hope alive for all the people going through breakups. Remember how you felt during the first success video you watched? It gave hope and inspiration. Things people need in these situations. And when your ex or new partner come into the picture, watch the video together. You want to have the best, strongest relationship that you can. Watch them together, learn together, grow together. Last thing, people, please take care of yourselves. I'm a health nut, and going through these situations challenges that aspect of my life. Sleep and hydration are so underrated and overlooked. I know it's hard. I'm going through it as I'm typing this email. But you have to take care of yourselves. Part of what attracts your ex back is your ability to handle these tough times, to rise from the ashes and emerge a stronger, more confident person. Do it for you. You deserve this. I've got my next session with Craig scheduled, and even just knowing that makes me feel better. I can't tell you how much more relaxed I felt when I knew I had a session coming up with Margaret. It would be like, okay, today's Tuesday, and I know I'm going to see her on Friday. Okay, great. I only have a couple more days. I can get there. So you're going to see that once you schedule with us, you're going to feel a lot better knowing you have a session coming up too. I'm also doing the workbooks again. He says do them multiple times and watch how your answers change as you grow. And we'll be doing the Creative Healing course. Craig, Victoria, thank you for all you do. I can't imagine how many people would continue to struggle without your guidance. At this point in my life, this will be part of who I am. A lifestyle, if you will. I'm a subscriber for life. I get immediate relief when I see a new video has been released. Side note, watch all the videos, not just no contact. It's only part of the solution. Feel free to read and share this email as you see fit. Talk to you later, coaches. All the best, Dustin. So it was great for him to share the experience of what he went through, especially in that first breakup. Now he's going through a new breakup, and obviously we're talking about everything that's going on there and what he wants to do, if he wants to repair it, because he's not sure. Part of him wants to fix this. Part of him isn't sure if his partner is going to be right for him in the long run. But he's in a much better place today than he was 8 years ago, as you can hear all the work that he has done. And I want to hear these words from you too. I want to hear a success story from you too. And I don't see a success story as just getting back with an ex. No, changing your life, becoming more enlightened, becoming more calm, improving your mental health, whatever area it is that you want to grow. Maybe you just want to be better with dating and understanding relationships. Whatever it is, I want to hear your success story, and so does Victoria. So please remember us when things are going well. Don't just come around when things are going poorly. We are here for you in the good times and the bad, and we appreciate you guys sharing your successes with us. We love to see them because it makes us feel so good about what we do. Okay? We love what we do. We are very passionate about what we do. I've spent my entire career helping people. And if I wasn't doing this, I would be helping people in a different way, right? I would go back to working locally as a therapist, maybe working with kids and families again. I don't know. But I'm so passionate about the channel that we may even have a new project coming out. I guess you'll have to see. Or maybe it's already out and coincided with this time. I guess we'll have to see. What could I be talking about? I don't know. But this is a great success story, and I want to hear yours. So please share them with us and know that you're going to feel better. Your breakup is going to get better. You might not get your ex back, but in time you will feel better. That's the way it goes. It may take time. Sometimes it even takes you guys years to get over a breakup. Do the work. The more you talk about it, heal, process it, the more you're going to be able to work through those things, right? That's why after the workbooks, I didn't really think I would do any other products because people love the workbooks. But when the pandemic came, we had to limit some of the time that Victoria could spend with Margaret to keep her safe. And so Victoria had a lot of time where her and I could create and develop something new. And we were so excited about all the different opportunities with cartoons and art therapy activities. I started researching art therapy and how effective it is, and I really liked what I was reading. It was really high on how processing through art, and I was like, oh, well, we'll do reflective questions with it, and we were able to come up with a lot of new things. So sometimes people are confused about the difference between the workbooks and the course. And, the workbooks are fantastic. They cover videos and reflective questions and have homework assignments. With the course, we were able to add on a lot more. We were able to do whiteboard videos, audio affirmations, cartoons with reflective questions, audio, art therapy activities with reflective questions. There's so much in it, and you can go to the website and take a look at all that stuff. You can scroll down, open up each section. I think it says the name of each activity, just to give you an idea of some of the stuff you're going to be experiencing when you do it. But you do that over sitting there, opening up WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram and looking to see if they posted, you're going to be in a much better position. And either your ex is going to come back and you're going to have an opportunity to repair things, or you're going to move forward and you're going to blow away the people that you're dating, because they're not going to meet people that know the stuff that we teach. Okay? So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. And of course, if you want to get my help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. You can get the workbooks or the creative healing course only on the website. That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.